Good morning, everyone. We live in a world where oversharing is celebrated, where vulnerability is often mistaken for putting every corner of your life on display. Every thought, every victory, every heartbreak, it's all on show for the world to see. And we wonder why we feel so exposed, so drained, and so misunderstood. Today, I want to tell you this: don't let people know too much about you. Now, I'm not telling you to build walls so high that no one can climb them. I'm not asking you to hide who you are. Vulnerability is powerful, it's human, it's connective, and it's courageous. But not everyone deserves access to you. You are not for everyone. You see, there's a difference between sharing and spilling. There's a difference between being authentic and laying yourself bare to people who haven't earned the right to hold your story. Because when you hand your truth to the wrong hands, they'll twist it, they'll judge it, and they'll use it in ways you never intended. So what do? You protect your story. You decide what parts of yourself you share and with whom. This doesn't make you fake. This doesn't make you closed off. It makes you wise. It makes you intentional. Imagine your life as a beautiful house. The living room that's where people you barely know can sit. Casual friends, co-workers, acquaintances. They'll see the neat cushions and clean coffee table, but they won't see the clutter in the back rooms. They haven't earned that trust. Then there's your kitchen table. This is for the few, the ones who have proven their loyalty, their love, and their understanding of who you are. These are the people who've shown they can sit with you on good days and bad days, who can hold space for your truths without turning them into weapons. Finally, there's the back porch, the most sacred space of all. The place where the deepest, rawest parts of your soul are shared. Only a handful of people belong here. And that's okay. Not everyone is meant to see every corner of you. Not everyone deserves access to your story. This simple truth can feel counterintuitive in a world where sharing has become second nature. We're constantly surrounded by an environment that celebrates oversharing, where people broadcast their lives online, bare their emotions to anyone who will listen, and confuse constant exposure with authenticity. It can feel as though we owe the world transparency, that our worth is tied to how much we reveal. But the reality is that your story, your truth, is precious. It's a part of you that not everyone has earned the right to witness, and understanding that distinction can save you from heartache, betrayal, and exhaustion. Your story holds power. It encompasses your struggles, your victories, your scars, and your growth. Sharing it indiscriminately opens the door for misunderstanding and judgment. Not everyone who listens to your words does so with kindness or care. Some people are merely curious, driven by a need to know rather than a desire to understand. They collect details, dissect them, and sometimes misuse them in ways you never intended. They take pieces of your narrative and make them their own, twisting your experiences into gossip, entertainment, or assumptions about who you are. When this happens, you feel robbed, as though something sacred has been taken from you. You might even feel foolish for trusting too soon or sharing too much. There's an important lesson in this: discernment matters. Your story is not something to be handed over freely to anyone who shows interest. It's something that must be earned through trust, care, and respect. People must prove themselves capable of holding your truths gently, of sitting with you in your vulnerability without trying to fix you, judge you, or use your words against you. When you share your story with the wrong people, you risk opening yourself up to pain that could have been avoided. The fault is not in your desire to be seen or understood. It's in the misplaced trust you gave to someone who wasn't ready to hold it. Understanding that not everyone deserves access to your story is not about being closed off or guarded. It's about knowing your worth and respecting yourself enough to protect what is meaningful to you. You don't owe anyone your life's details simply because they ask. You don't need to explain your choices, your emotions, or your experiences to those who haven't shown you they can handle the weight of that truth. This isn't about distrust, it's about boundaries. It's about creating space for genuine connection instead of surface level interest. Some people will earn your trust, and with them, you can share the most sacred parts of yourself. Others will not, and it's perfectly okay to hold those parts back. In every interaction, you have a choice. You decide how much of yourself to give, how much of your story to share. This choice is empowering. It allows you to reclaim ownership of your experiences, to honor the effort and struggle that brought you to where you are now. It reminds you that your story is a gift, not a requirement, and that you alone decide who gets to hold it. Sharing selectively is a sign of wisdom, not weakness. In a society that places so much value on openness and transparency, it can sometimes feel as though holding back makes you guarded, distant, or even untrustworthy. The world encourages us to share our feelings, our struggles, and our successes as though constant disclosure is the only way to connect or gain acceptance. Yet the ability to choose what to share and with whom is not a sign of fear or insecurity. It's a reflection of self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and a deep understanding of your boundaries. The truth is, not everyone is equipped to handle your story, and sharing everything with everyone rarely leads to the connection you seek. Instead, it can leave you feeling vulnerable in ways that are neither productive nor safe. There's a distinct difference between authentic vulnerability and indiscriminate oversharing. When you share selectively, you take control of your narrative. You decide what pieces of yourself are for public view and which parts remain protected, shared only with those who have earned your trust. This isn't about hiding who you are, but about honoring yourself enough to recognize that your experiences are valuable and not everyone deserves front row access to them. There's wisdom in understanding that not every space is safe for vulnerability. Sharing deeply with people who haven't earned that level of trust can backfire, leading to judgment, misinterpretation, or even betrayal. For many, this becomes a painful lesson. When you give too much of yourself to the wrong people, you open doors that can't easily be closed. This isn't a reflection of your worth or the value of your story, but rather a reminder that the world is filled with different kinds of listeners, some who will honor your words and others who will misuse them. Choosing to be selective is an act of discernment. It's knowing who can hold space for you without trying to fix, criticize, or weaponize what you share. This level of awareness comes with experience. Over time, you begin to recognize the people who truly see you, the ones who sit with you in moments of joy and pain, who listen without judgment, and who respect the parts of you that you entrust to them. These people are rare, and their presence is earned, not given by default. On the other hand, sharing without consideration can leave you feeling depleted. Every time you give parts of yourself to those who haven't proven they can hold it, you lose a little energy. You might begin to feel misunderstood, unseen, or undervalued because your story has been placed in hands that don't know how to hold it. There's a cost to oversharing, one that often manifests as regret, shame, or frustration. People who haven't walked your journey may see only fragments of the story you share and fail to grasp its depth. They may offer surface-level responses that leave you feeling more alone than before, questioning why you shared so much in the first place. The wisdom in sharing selectively lies in understanding that your words, your experiences, and your emotions carry weight. You are not obligated to lighten your load by handing it to people who are unprepared to hold it. This is not weakness, it is strength. It requires courage to hold back, to recognize that restraint does not mean dishonesty. Selective sharing means honoring your truth while knowing that not every space or person is deserving of it. It allows you to maintain a sense of self-respect and self-preservation without compromising your ability to be authentic. When you embrace the idea of selective sharing, you begin to trust yourself more. You learn to listen to your instincts, to assess the people around you, and to discern where your story will be honored rather than judged. This choice doesn't make you guarded or disconnected, it makes you intentional. It allows you to build stronger, more meaningful connections with people who have earned your trust. Rather than scattering pieces of yourself across every interaction, you share deeply and purposefully with those who matter most. This wisdom shifts how you view relationships, teaching you to value quality over quantity. It's no longer about how many people know your story, but about how well the right people understand it. True connection doesn't require you to lay everything bare to everyone you meet. It only requires you to show up fully where it matters most. This kind of intentional sharing fosters trust, intimacy, and understanding the kind of relationships that make you feel seen, valued, and safe. Ultimately, sharing selectively is a reflection of strength, self-respect, and emotional maturity. It is not about building walls to keep people out, but about building bridges only where they are truly deserved. By honoring your boundaries and choosing your moments of vulnerability with care, you create a life that feels more balanced, more authentic, and more deeply connected to the people who truly matter. Protect your energy and guard your truth. In a world where life constantly demands our attention, where people are quick to offer opinions and judgments, it is easy to feel drained and exposed. Your energy is finite. It is the fuel that carries you through your days, through your challenges, and toward your dreams. Yet too often we allow others to deplete that energy without realizing it. Protecting your energy means being intentional about where you invest your time, your emotions, and your thoughts. It requires an awareness of the spaces you occupy and the people you allow into those spaces. You are not obligated to give away pieces of yourself to everyone who asks for them. There is a truth within you, the deepest parts of who you are, what you have experienced, and what you hope to become. This truth is sacred, yet it is often taken for granted in the rush to connect, to be understood, or to feel validated. Guarding your truth is not about hiding it. It is about valuing it. It is recognizing that not everyone can honor the weight of your story, your struggles, or your dreams. Some people will see your truth as a vulnerability to exploit, a weakness to criticize, or an opportunity to insert their own opinions where they are not needed. Sharing your truth in spaces where it is not respected only leaves you feeling misunderstood and diminished. Protecting your energy starts with understanding your boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they are lines that define where your responsibility ends and someone else's begins. They help you decide what you will tolerate, what you will entertain, and what you will walk away from. Setting boundaries allows you to conserve your emotional energy for the things that truly matter, instead of scattering it in directions that leave you empty. Whether it's conversations that drain you, relationships that weigh you down, or environments that make you feel unseen, your responsibility is to choose wisely where you place your focus and attention. It is important to remember that not everyone is entitled to your emotional space. You do not have to explain yourself to people who are unwilling to listen or understand. You do not need to share your journey with those who only show up to critique or diminish it. Protecting your energy means learning to walk away from conversations that are unproductive, people who leave you questioning your worth, and situations that pull you away from your purpose. It is not about closing yourself off, but about preserving the best parts of yourself for those who appreciate them. Guarding your truth also means being mindful of the way you speak to yourself. Your internal dialogue holds as much power as external voices. If you allow negativity, doubt, or other people's opinions to dictate how you see yourself, you risk surrendering your truth to forces that do not deserve to shape it. Protecting your truth means standing firm in who you are, in what you know about yourself, and in what you are working toward. It is trusting your instincts, even when the world tries to convince you otherwise. The people you surround yourself with play a significant role in protecting your energy and guarding your truth. There are those who lift you, who encourage you to grow, and who respect your journey. They pour into you rather than deplete you. Then there are those who take without giving, who critique without understanding, and who leave you feeling small. Knowing the difference between these people and having the courage to distance yourself from those who drain you is essential. Your energy is too precious to waste on relationships that do not honor who you are. When you protect your energy, you reclaim your power. You learn to move through the world with intention rather than reaction. You become more aware of what brings you peace, what inspires you, and what aligns with your values. Guarding your truth allows you to live authentically without compromising the essence of who you are for the sake of fitting in or gaining approval. It is a commitment to yourself, a declaration that your well-being matters, and a reminder that not everyone is deserving of access to your life's most meaningful parts. Distinguishing between attention and genuine connection is one of the most critical lessons you can learn in navigating relationships and interactions. In a world where attention is so easily given and received, where likes, comments, and fleeting conversations are mistaken for validation, it's easy to confuse superficial interest with something deeper. Attention feels good. It strokes the ego, creates a sense of importance, and makes you feel seen. But attention on its own is hollow. It doesn't necessarily mean care, respect, or understanding. It doesn't signify a bond or trust. It's a fleeting moment that can vanish as quickly as it appeared, leaving you with nothing but a void where real connection should be. Attention often comes from a place of curiosity or convenience rather than authenticity. People may be interested in you for what you can offer, what you represent, or what they can gain. They might ask questions, listen to pieces of your story, or engage with you in ways that feel meaningful on the surface. But attention without depth rarely lasts. It's not rooted in understanding, and it lacks the effort that real connection requires. True connection demands time, patience, and vulnerability. It goes beyond the surface level details and reaches into the heart of who you are. It sees you not for what you present to the world, but for what lies beneath your struggles, your dreams, your values, and your authentic self. Genuine connection is built through intention, trust, and mutual respect. It's not about quick exchanges or shallow interest. It's about two people showing up for each other consistently in ways that matter. A person who truly connects with you will listen to you not just to respond, but to understand. They will hold space for your feelings without minimizing or dismissing them. They will celebrate your wins without jealousy and stand beside you in your hardest moments without judgment. This kind of connection is rare because it requires emotional effort. It asks people to show up fully, to put aside pretense, and to create a space where both sides feel valued and understood. The danger of mistaking attention for connection is that it leaves you vulnerable to disappointment. When you place your trust or emotions in people who are only giving you attention, you risk misunderstanding their intentions. You might feel let down when their interest fades or when they fail to show up for you in the ways you hoped they would. This doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It simply means you misread the depth of the relationship. Attention is easy to give, and many people will offer it without considering the impact it has on you. Genuine connection, on the other hand, is harder to find because it requires presence, consistency, and authenticity qualities not everyone is willing to offer. Learning to tell the difference begins with understanding what real connection feels like. It's steady, not sporadic. It's supportive, not self-serving. It's about quality over quantity, depth over surface level interactions. You don't need hundreds of people paying attention to you when even one or two individuals can offer the depth of connection that fills your life with meaning. This kind of bond isn't loud or showy. It doesn't always come with grand gestures or constant validation. Instead, it's found in the quiet moments, the deep conversations, the shared silence, and the unwavering presence of someone who truly cares. To discern between attention and connection, you must be willing to look beyond words and actions at face value. People can say all the right things and still not have your best interests at heart. Attention often seeks immediate gratification, whereas connection grows steadily over time. Pay attention to the people who make you feel seen, not just noticed. Notice who listens to you when you're not your best, who remembers the little details, and who shows up for you when it's inconvenient. These are the markers of connection, people who are willing to invest in you, not because it benefits them, but because they value you. At the same time, you must also reflect on your own intentions. Are you seeking attention to fill a void, or are you creating opportunities for genuine connection? It's easy to chase attention when you're feeling lonely or unseen, but this pursuit rarely satisfies you in the long run. True connection is fulfilling because it feeds your soul, not just your ego. It helps you grow, learn, and feel secure in who you are. It doesn't demand perfection or performance. It simply asks you to show up as yourself. Recognizing the difference between attention and connection allows you to protect your emotional energy. It teaches you to let go of shallow interactions that drain you and to focus on the relationships that offer you depth, meaning, and mutual care. It's a reminder that being truly understood is far more valuable than being momentarily noticed. Attention may feel good in the moment, but genuine connection is what gives life its richness and purpose. Let people earn their place in your life. This simple yet profound truth often goes overlooked in a world where we're taught to be open, welcoming, and inclusive. While there's nothing wrong with kindness or generosity, it's essential to understand that not everyone who enters your life has earned the right to stay, to know your inner world, or to occupy a significant space in your heart. Relationships, whether personal or professional, require effort, trust, and reciprocity. These are not qualities that should be handed out freely. People should have to demonstrate that they value you, respect your boundaries, and are willing to show up for you consistently before you give them access to the most vulnerable parts of yourself. Too often, we extend trust to people too quickly, hoping they will fulfill our needs for connection, validation, or companionship. But trust is a delicate thing. It cannot be rushed, nor should it be given to those who haven't earned it. When you give people access to your life without ensuring they've earned that privilege, you risk being disappointed, hurt, or let down. Not everyone you meet is capable of holding space for your emotions or your experiences in a way that nurtures and supports you. Some people will take advantage of your openness, misuse your trust, or disappoint you when you need them most. It's in these moments that we realize how valuable and precious our trust really is. Earning a place in your life is not about grand gestures or surface-level affection. It's about the day-to-day consistency of someone's actions, the way they respect your time, your boundaries, and your needs. It's about how they show up for you in the small moments and how they handle the larger, more difficult challenges. People who earn their place in your life don't just show up when it's convenient or when you're at your best. They stay by your side when things get tough, when you're struggling, or when you need support. They don't disappear when you show your vulnerabilities or share your challenges. Instead, they lean in, offering care, understanding, and empathy. Earning a place in your life also means being there not just for the good times, but through the hard ones. It's easy for someone to be around when things are easy, but when life presents its challenges, that's when true loyalty and connection are tested. People who genuinely care about you won't shy away from the difficult conversations or withdraw when you're in need. They'll meet you with understanding, compassion, and a willingness to help rather than expecting you to always be the one to give or perform. In a world where instant gratification often trumps genuine connection, it's easy to forget the importance of allowing people to earn their place. We may rush into relationships or accept the superficial connections that come with convenience, simply because we want to feel seen or loved. However, when we don't take the time to assess who really deserves our time, energy, and trust, we can easily find ourselves in relationships that aren't healthy or fulfilling. Giving someone space in your life means you're willing to be vulnerable, but it also means you're asking them to demonstrate that they can honor and respect that vulnerability. In the same way that you protect your energy and guard your truth, you should be protective of your time and the people you allow into your inner circle. You shouldn't have to settle for relationships that drain you, that make you feel unworthy, or that leave you questioning your value. People who earn their place in your life show you through their actions that they are worthy of your trust, your love, and your time. They understand that relationships are built on a foundation of mutual respect and understanding, not on quick connections or fleeting interest. When you allow people to earn their place in your life, you're also teaching them how to value you. You're showing them that your time and energy are precious, and that being part of your world is not a given, but something that must be respected and nurtured. You're choosing to build relationships with those who understand the effort it takes to truly be there for someone, not just when it's easy, but when it matters most. This process of letting people earn their place doesn't mean you close yourself off from others. It simply means that you're intentional about who gets to be a part of your journey and that you're building connections with those who truly deserve to walk alongside you. Live for yourself, not for external validation. In a world that constantly bombards us with messages about how we should look, what we should achieve, and who we should be, it's easy to get lost in the pursuit of approval from others. Whether it's through social media likes, career accolades, or the expectations of family and friends, we're often conditioned to measure our worth based on how others see us. Yet the truth is, external validation will never bring the lasting satisfaction or fulfillment we seek. The key to a meaningful and authentic life lies in living for yourself, for your own values, desires, and sense of purpose, not for the fleeting praise or recognition that comes from the outside world. Living for yourself means understanding who you are, what you truly want, and what makes you feel alive. It requires a deep level of self-awareness, one that often only comes after you spend time reflecting on your experiences, your passions, and your purpose. When you live for yourself, you aren't making decisions based on what others expect of you, but on what feels right for your soul. You stop seeking constant validation from others and begin to trust yourself, your instincts, and your ability to make choices that align with your true self. This isn't about ignoring the opinions of others, but about learning to filter them through your own sense of authenticity and confidence. External validation can be alluring. It's easy to seek affirmation from the people around you, to chase after praise, or to feel good about yourself when others approve of what you do. We live in a society where we are constantly reminded of our shortcomings and told how we should look, act, and achieve in order to be accepted or valued. Social media, advertisements, and even personal relationships often push us to conform to external standards. However, this constant search for approval can leave us feeling hollow, as if we are chasing something that always seems just out of reach. You may experience moments of praise or admiration, but they are often short-lived and can leave you wondering why they don't provide the deeper satisfaction you expected. When you live for others' approval, you give away your power, you become dependent on the opinions of others to feel good about yourself, which means your sense of worth fluctuates based on their judgments. One day, you might feel on top of the world because someone praises your efforts. The next day, you might feel crushed because someone criticizes or ignores you. This creates an unstable foundation for your self-esteem, one that is entirely out of your control. True confidence and inner peace come from within, not from the validation you receive from the outside world. Living for yourself also means embracing the freedom to fail without fear of judgment. When you are driven by your own values and passions, failure no longer feels like the end of the world. Instead, it becomes part of your growth. When you are not living for external approval, you no longer feel the weight of perfectionism or the need to measure your success by other people's standards. You understand that mistakes are part of the journey and that growth often comes from the most challenging experiences. This mindset frees you from the need to constantly prove yourself or live up to unrealistic expectations. Living for yourself is a radical act of self-love and self-acceptance. It means choosing to honor your needs, desires, and boundaries, even when they don't align with what others expect of you. It's about making decisions that feel true to your inner being, not out of a desire to fit in or gain validation. It requires you to listen to your own voice, trust your instincts, and embrace the uniqueness that sets you apart. When you live for yourself, you stop pretending to be someone you're not, and instead you step fully into who you were always meant to be. This shift in mindset often involves letting go of the need for approval from those around you. It means breaking free from the trap of comparison where you measure your success based on how it stacks up against others. It's about recognizing that your worth is not determined by how many followers you have, how much money you make, or how well you perform in the eyes of others. Your worth is intrinsic. It comes from the essence of who you are and the value you bring to the world just by being yourself. When you stop living for external validation, you create space for true fulfillment. You begin to make choices that nurture your well-being, your growth, and your happiness. Your life becomes about living authentically, not about fulfilling someone else's vision of who you should be. You stop seeking approval because you already know your worth, and you begin to live in a way that is aligned with your values and passions. This is where true peace and contentment lie, in living for yourself and trusting yourself, and in knowing that you are enough just as you are. In a world that constantly seeks to define us through external expectations and fleeting validations, the true power lies in embracing our own authenticity. By protecting our energy, guarding our truth, and learning to distinguish between attention and genuine connection, we reclaim control over our lives. We must allow people to earn their place in our world and stop living for the approval of others. When we live for ourselves, grounded in our own values and purpose, we find lasting fulfillment and peace. Ultimately, the greatest gift we can give ourselves is the freedom to live authentically, unapologetically, and with unwavering trust in who we are.